Doesn't get better than Miranda Devine joining us, of course, from the United States. You can read her stuff in the papers here, but you can see it, of course, New York Post, and see her all over the telly as well. She is a very busy lady, as well as, of course, the truth about Hunter Biden. Miranda, lovely to see you.
Great to see you too, Paul, and lovely to talk to your listeners in Australia.
I was going to say, hopefully you've had a sleep here and there in between, because it's been a very busy time. But let's talk about Biden. He goes outside the White House to sign that infrastructure bill, which, of course, is more than $1 trillion. Lefties are annoyed because it isn't enough money, and there might be other issues with other trillions of dollars that are still waiting to be passed as well. But, this bloke thinks that, this somehow is going to save his presidency. I don't know if inflation is the big issue at the moment.
Well, yes, I mean, there are some analysts who are saying that Thanksgiving this year will cost another 30% over what it cost last year. Those are the kinds of huge hikes that we're having in just everyday prices, and people are really hurting, especially when it comes to, for instance, filling up your car with petrol. It's just enormous price hikes. Economy is showing, and yet we have these sort of rich, pampered MSNBC hosts telling us that it's a good thing and that actually there's no such problem as inflation. And Jen Psaki, who's the White House press secretary, is similarly playing it down, as is Joe Biden. He says that this is a good problem, and his chief of staff has tweeted that this is a high-class problem. So they're living on another planet. And I think the infrastructure thing, I mean, $1.75 trillion down from, 3.5 that they originally wanted, but it's all been sort of tricks to get that price tag down. There was an analysis out yesterday saying that it was actually going to cost $5 trillion. And Donald Trump came out with this absolutely scathing critique of it. And he pointed out quite properly that it's, less than 15% of it is actual infrastructure, what you think of as, bridges and roads and so on. And we know already that the Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg is going to spend all the money for transportation on stopping roads and bridges being racist. So they're all insane. They're all just eaten up with identity politics, and the voters hate it.
Well, this is it. I mean, latest polls, as you've shown us here, the approval level of Biden is now 41, disapproval 53. The only person less popular is Kamala Harris. And what about the buckets being dumped on her from inside via the Biden booster network? They are in a world of pain, and it is all of their own making.
Well, actually, there's an even more recent and more dire poll than that. The Washington Post poll has found that Biden's disapproval or approval ratings anyway are 38% versus 57%, and Kamala Harris, who's the great hope, his heir apparent, is 28%. She's incredibly unpopular. I mean, there's a video on YouTube that's been doing the rounds on social media showing 10 hours of Kamala Harris cackling. That's all she seems to do is cackle in this awful sort of inauthentic manner. Yeah. And she's so unpopular. So between the two of them, it's a disaster. But the independent voters are the ones that he's really bleeding. Republicans never liked him. Democrats are falling off. But it's the independent voters. He's down to 35% with them. And, they think that the country's going in the wrong direction, that he's botched the economy, that he's the reason that there's such bad inflation. The botched pull out of Afghanistan, I think, was a real wake-up call for everyone, because it showed them exactly what sort of a person Joe Biden is: callous, dishonest. He didn't care that he was leaving Americans behind when he said he would never do that.
You're a rock star. So good to talk to you. Let's do it again very soon. Miranda Devine, of course, in New York. She wrote the book, and the best book, about the inside story of course, Hunter Biden and the garbage in and around big tech. So awesome to talk to you, mate.